Welcome to our channel, where we explore the lives of historical warriors and their fascinating journeys. Today, we're going back in time to ancient Greece to tell you the story of one of the most legendary figures in world history, Alexander the Great. From his youth as the Prince of Macedon to his conquests of the Persian Empire and beyond, Alexander's life was filled with triumphs, tragedies, and moments of sheer genius. Join us as we dive into his world, his battles, and his legacy, and discover what made him such an enduring icon of power and glory. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the life of Alexander the Great. His youth, Alexander was born in Pella, the capital of the Macedonian kingdom, on July 20 or 21, 356 BC. He is the eldest son of King Philip II of Macedonia, of the Argeads dynasty, and Olympias. Through his father, he claims descent from Temenos of Argos, himself supposedly descended from Heracles, son of Zeus. Through his mother, he claims to be descended from Neoptolemus, son of Achilles. A legend, known since antiquity, says that Olympias would not have conceived Alexander with Philip, who is afraid of her and her habit of sleeping in the company of snakes, but with Zeus. Alexander uses these folk tales for political ends, sometimes referring to the god rather than to Philip when he mentions his father. According to a statement reported by Plutarch among others, Alexander was born the same night that Herostratus burned down the temple of Artemis in Ephesus, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Alexander would later use this coincidence to strengthen his political aura by offering to finance the restoration of the temple. Rise to power. In 340, 16-year-old Alexander, a pupil of Aristotle, was called by Philip to the court of Pella to learn how the state functioned. It was at this time that he would have tamed Bucephalus. Then, his father having left to besiege Perinda and Byzantium, he was entrusted with the regency of Macedonia, even if he was surrounded by experienced advisors such as Antipater. In 339, he received his first military command during a campaign against Thracian tribes in the region of Strymon, with the aim of ensuring control of the borders of Macedonia. This victorious campaign, which is more like a raid, leads to the installation of a garrison in a city called Alexandropolis in the Rila Mountains, in present-day Bulgaria. After the assassination of Philip in the summer of 336, the Assembly of Macedonians proclaimed, with the help of Antipater, Alexander, then aged 20, new king of the Macedonians. The Greek cities, primarily Athens and Thebes, which had pledged allegiance to Philip, did not wish to renew their alliance with the new king. Alexander immediately orders the execution of all his potential rivals. Thus, he killed his cousin Amyntas IV, king around 360 to 359 that Philip II overthrew when he was only a child. Olympias, taking advantage of the absence of her son who has gone to war in the north, has Cleopatra killed by forcing her to hang herself after seeing her daughter, Europa, with her throat slit in her arms. Northern expeditions, but at the same time, Illyrian tribes make an incursion into Macedonia, led by Cleitos, king of the Dardanians, who manages to rally the Talantians of King Glaucias and the Oteriates of King Plurus. In July 335, Alexander marched with his troops towards the territory of the Agrians in Paeonia, whose king Langaros came to his aid. Victorious at the siege of Pelion in December 335, Alexander forced the Illyrians to withdraw. Cleitos nevertheless regains his throne, becoming a vassal of the Kingdom of Macedonia. The Persian-Greek War, the war between Alexander the Great and the Persians, is one of the most famous conflicts in ancient history. It opposed the Kingdom of Macedonia, led by Alexander, to the powerful Persian Empire, then in decline. The war began in 334 BC with the invasion of Asia Minor by Alexander and ended in 330 BC. AD by the capture of the Persian capital, Persepolis. The war was marked by several decisive battles, the most famous of which was that of Gaugamela in 331 BC. This battle pitted the Macedonian army, 40,000 strong, against that of Darius III, the Persian king, who had 200,000 soldiers. Despite this numerical imbalance, Alexander managed to win a landslide victory, thanks to daring strategy and great tactical skill. After this battle, Alexander continued his campaign in Persia, seizing several important cities like Babylon and Susa. In 330 BC AD, he reached Persepolis, the Persian capital, and stormed it. The city was looted and burned, marking the end of the Persian Empire as a great power. Despite his victory, Alexander could not completely pacify the region, and had to face numerous revolts. In 323 BC J.C., he died suddenly in Babylon, leaving behind him an extended but unstable empire, which was to be divided after his death. The war between Alexander and the Persians marked a turning point in the history of the Eastern Mediterranean and the Middle East. It allowed the expansion of Hellenistic culture in the region, as well as the dissemination of ideas and knowledge between different cultures. It also contributed to the collapse of the Persian Empire, paving the way for new powers in the region, such as the Parthians and the Sassanids. Beyond the geopolitical impact, the war between Alexander and the Persians remains a symbol of courage, military strategy, and exceptional destiny. It inspired many literary, artistic and cinematographic works, making Alexander the Great one of the most famous and fascinating figures in human history. His death, Alexander the Great died in June 323 BC in Babylon, at the age of 32. The cause of his death is still uncertain today. Several theories have been advanced over the centuries, but none can be considered certain. According to historical sources, Alexander the Great fell ill after attending a grand banquet in honor of a friend. He suffered from fever and severe abdominal pain for several days. Despite medical treatment, his condition deteriorated rapidly and he died after 10 days of suffering. Thank you for watching this video about the life of Alexander the Great, one of the greatest conquerors in history. From his rapid rise to the throne to his prolific reign and untimely death, we explored Alexander's achievements and challenges throughout his life. Despite his untimely death, his legacy has continued to inspire generations of leaders and thinkers, and we hope this video has given you a better understanding of his impact on history. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating content about history and great figures from the past.